Hi, I'm Ellie, and this is your weekly theatre news recap, specifically the last weekly news recap of 2024. Can you believe it? We've made it. This is the final one. Will I continue this series into 2025? I guess we'll find out. You're going to have to tell me in the comments how much you want it to continue next year. And if you want to stay up to date with all things UK theatre, make sure you hit subscribe and like this video because I do these every single week to varying levels of quality and success. Except next week, because next week is Christmas and there's the end of December, there's no news. Well, it would be a video of me saying there's nothing. Do you want that? I can make it a YouTube short. But I have 2 weeks worth of news to catch up on, so let's dive in, starting as we always do with our casting news. First up, we have another update on casting from the UK tour of Girl on the Train. We have a third leading actress for this show, who is Louisa Lytton, who you may know from EastEnders. She will be starring as Rachel Watson in Chester, Woking, Birmingham, Southend, Liverpool, Leicester and Cardiff. So if you are near any of those venues, you should check out Girl on the Train to see Louisa Lytton. We also have casting for A Man of All Seasons. This is going on a short UK tour next year. It's starting at the Theatre Royal Bar from the 16th to the 25th of January, and then we'll tour to Chichester, Malvern, Cheltenham, Oxford, Guildford, Canterbury and Richmond. And starring in the show will be Martin Shaw, Gary Wilmot, Edward Bennett, Abigail Cruttenden, Nicholas Day, Hugh Brental, Callum Finlay, Orlando James, Harry Kang, Asif Khan, Annie Kingsnorth, Andrew MacDonald, Sam Parks, Louisa Sexton, and Timothy Watson. That's a lot of cast members. So if you want to catch these guys in A Man for All Seasons, you can check it out at any of those UK tour stops. I've already said them. I'm not saying them again. We're speedrunning through these. We're speedrunning through. There's a lot of news. There's a lot of cool news. Next up, Kyoto. We already had a lot of cast members announced for Kyoto before. This is a play that is transferring from the Royal Shakespeare Company, their theatre in Stratford-upon-Avon, and is going to at Soho Place next year, starting in January and going on until May. It's got quite a long run. And joining the already previously announced cast will be Stephen Kunken. He has been announced to be reprising his role from the Stratford run as Don Perlman. You may know Kunken from his work on The Handmaid's Tale, from Billions, from Wolf of Wall Street. So if you want to catch him in Kyoto, you can catch him in January and onwards during that run at Soho Place. Also in the West End, we're heading over to talk about the comedy about spies. This is Mischief Theatre's latest show. You may know them from their work on The Play That Goes Wrong, from their work on Grown Ups, from their TV show, but also their work on the comedy about a bank robbery, which this show seems to be in a similar vein of. And it has been announced that a lot of original Mischief cast members will be coming back to star in this show, including Dave Hearn, Chris Leask, Henry Lewis, Charlie Russell, Henry Shields, Greg Tannehill, and Nancy Zammit. And they are joined by a new Mischief alum who is Adele James, making her debut in a Mischief show. So if you want to catch this cast, these original cast members from Mischief, in a brand new comedy, you can check them out next year, specifically from April 2025 at the Noel Coward Theatre. Next up, Stiletto. Stiletto is a new musical heading to the Charing Cross Theatre. This is a theatre, an off-West End theatre that is in the heart of the West End. It's literally, if you walk down a flight of escalators at Charing Cross Station, you are at the Charing Cross Theatre. And starring in Stiletto will be Greg Barnett, Sam Barrett, Jack Chambers, Kelly Hampson, Douglas Hansell, Jewel Hutchinson, and Connor Wood, as well as an ensemble who will beware the description down below. This looks really exciting, looks really interesting. I love to see new musicals get a chance off West End, and especially at this venue. So hopefully I'll get a chance to check it out. It runs at the Charing Cross Theatre from the 24th of March to the 14th of June 2025. Next up, if we're at Charing Cross Station, we're going to walk straight up. We're going to go round the corner. We're going to keep on walking. We're going to go down St. Martin's Lane, take a left, and then walk down a little bit further past the Arts Theatre, then take a right, go straight down, and then cross that giant crossing that is like 4 ways, and then we will be at the Prince Edward Theatre, where we have a new MJ taking over. This was really silly. Why did I do this? Yes, Miles Frost will be leaving the show in January 2025. And we have another MJ from a different country flying over to take over the role, as we have Jamal Fields Green, who has been playing MJ on the US tour and actually previously came over to the UK to play MJ for a short period of time while Miles was off the show. He will be our next full-time MJ from the 14th of January 2025. The rest of the cast are staying as is, but this is really exciting. I've heard really great things about Jamal. It's really cool as he is one of the few people who's played MJ in multiple different countries. I'm pretty sure he's done Broadway as well. I think they were saying he's one of the only people who's done Broadway, the tour, and London. So he's a very qualified MJ to be taking over at that show. And I can't wait to see him in the role. Next up, Joseph and his amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. They have announced a new Pharaoh in the UK tour. Specifically in Birmingham from the 20th of May to the 1st of June 2025, as Panto legend Matt Slack will be playing the Pharaoh at that venue. So if you want to see him in this role, you can catch him in Birmingham. As well as this, we got some really exciting casting news from the National Theatre, as they announced the cast for Stephen Sondheim's last musical, Here We Are. This is a musical that premiered off-Broadway and is now transferring to London. And it was previously announced a few cast members will be returning from that off-Broadway run, who are Tracy Bennett and then Dennis O'Hare, and it was also announced that Rory Kinnear would be joining the cast as well. We now have the rest of the cast for this show, and it's very exciting. We have Chamisa Dunford May, we have Jesse Tyler Ferguson, we have Richard Fleeceman, we have Harry Haddon Patton, we have Cameron Johnson, we have the legendary Jane Krakowski? Jane Krakowski? Are you kidding me? Whenever people bring up Jane Krakowski, I have to mention the role that she won her Tony Award in, which was the musical 9, which funnily enough we will speak about a little bit later. She did this whole thing. She was this whole thing where she did this silk robe thing where she wrapped herself in silk, climbed all the way to the top of the proscenium, and then twirled her way down while singing a high note. It was incredible. And the video is grainy and you can't see a thing. I'll probably leave a link in the description down below to it. But oh my god, it's phenomenal. Even on that poorly recorded bootleg, you could tell the power. She is an actress. I need to be there. And also joining her is Martha Plimpton and Paulo Zote. This is a cast. This is a cast. This is a cast. And I absolutely need to go and see this. I've heard many things about this show. I'm really intrigued by it. I'm trying to keep away from it. I'm not listening to the cast album or anything. I want to go in blind. I've heard it's very weird. And so am I. So maybe it's a perfect fit. But again, if you want to catch that, that is at the National Theatre from the 23rd of April to the 28th of June. Next up in casting news, we have some news for Boys from the Black Stuff. This was a show that premiered in Liverpool. If I remember correctly, it played in Liverpool, then played at the National Theatre, and then transferred to the West End, immediately after their National Theatre run, to the Garrick Theatre. And this play by James Graham is now going on a UK tour. This UK tour is going to the Theatre Royal Windsor from January, and then will go to Richmond, Bromley, Bath, Blackpool, Birmingham, Liverpool, Cheltenham, Derby, Salford, Guildford, Leeds, Newcastle, Colchester. That's very cool. That's actually really close to me. That's fantastic. I can actually see this play and I don't have to travel 5 years to see it. Doncaster, Stoke, Brighton, Canterbury, Mould, and the Theatre Claude. I still don't know how to pronounce it. People told me how to pronounce it and I still don't know. Oh god, I still don't know how to pronounce this one. Always the Welsh words. You take away a vowel from a word and I'm like, what do I do? My silly English brain cannot comprehend. But the cast have been announced for this show, including George Capel, Jarrell Carter, Jay Johnson, Jed McKenna, Mark Womack, Amber Blease, Reese Barber, Kyle Harrison Pope, Sean Kingsley, Jamie Peacock, Sean Polhill Thomas, Graham Elwell, Elliot Kingsley, which is multiple Kingsleys. There's many Kingsleys in this show, and Victoria Oxley. So if you want to catch Boys from the Black Stuff, I missed it in London and I'm absolutely massive. I'm a massive fan of James Graham's work. I have never seen a James Graham play that I haven't liked. So surely surely I'm going to enjoy this one. I'm going to have to catch it on the UK tour, and you can catch it at any of the venues that I mentioned before. I'm not saying them again. And going from one James Graham play to another, Dear England. Dear England have announced their leading cast member for their return to the National Theatre next year. Taking over from Olivier nominee Joseph Fiennes as Gareth Southgate is Gwilym Lee. So if you want to catch this, it returns to the National Theatre next year. And finally in casting news this week, this was the biggest thing. This was the thing that everyone was talking about. Hadestown. It was announced that the original Broadway cast of Hadestown would be returning to reprise their roles in London, something they did previously at the pre-Broadway tryout at the National Theatre. However, this is the first time that these guys will be playing the roles at the Lyric Theatre in the West End. Because I saw a lot of people saying that they were returning to the West End. They're not, because the National Theatre doesn't count as the West End technically. Technically, it's off West End. It's weird. We have a weird system, but technically, they did not play the West End. So, returning to the cast are Reeve Carney as Orpheus, Andre de Shields as Hermes, Amber Gray as Persephone, Eva Nobazada as Eurydice, and Patrick Page as Hades. They will be joining the show when the current UK cast leaves, and playing for a 5-week run from the 11th of February to the 9th of March 2025. Now, I would say you can go and get your tickets now. However, they completely sold out their entire 5-week run before the general sale even opened. They sold every single ticket for the entire run in the pre-sale. So, unfortunately, right now, there isn't a way that you can get tickets. However, what's very interesting to note is two things. Hadestown has put out a statement where they were like, look, there's going to be returns. Please stay tuned so you can sign up to their mailing lists. I'm sure they'll have ways and tell you if additional tickets become available. But the other thing to note, and this is off the record, when those tickets went on sale, there was a block of dates that didn't go on sale. These were performances at the end of February. Now, there's a lot of heavy rumours at the moment, so take this with a grain of salt, that Hadestown are planning to do a pro shot, and that is the main reason that the original Broadway cast are coming over to London to film the pro shot over here with the original Broadway cast and most likely a UK ensemble. Now, this rumour is given a lot of weight because of those dates that didn't go on sale. So it's very likely that in the future, these dates at the end of February will go on sale. Maybe they'll do a lottery similar to how Six did when they filmed their pro shot. But whatever that is, however those tickets are going to be given out and sold, we will have further information soon. And you know I will be here to report it when it happens. So keep an eye out. There's still chances to catch the original cast of Hadestown. I already saw this cast twice at the National Theatre. It's going to be really cool to see them again. I know that during that time, there was a lot of changes to Hadestown, and that during the Broadway run, they refined their takes on the roles. So even going back now is going to be a very different experience. I'm really excited. I hope you got your tickets too. And if you don't have your tickets but want to catch these guys, keep an eye out. I'm sure there'll be more information soon. And that is all the casting news for this week. That is a lot. Let's move on to concerts and events. First off, Starkid. After a very successful concert this year, Starkid will be returning to the London Palladium with a new show called I Can't Believe It's Been a Little Less Than a Year, which is quite a long title. So I'm just going to call it Starkid. If you are unfamiliar, Team Starkid are a very popular group of performers who perform in LA, I'm pretty sure. But all of their performances are live streamed over their runs in America, and they post a lot on YouTube, which has kind of gained them a very big cult following. They will be returning to London Palladium on the 26th and the 27th of April 2025. So if you want to catch them live performing a whole range of different songs from their previous productions, you can catch them then. And speaking of then, If Then has announced some further casting for their concert on the 10th of February. This is starring Kerry Ellis, as previously announced, but joining her will be David Hunter as Lucas, Priya Kaladas as Kate, Tim Hauer as Stephen, Jennie Fitzpatrick as Anne, Carl Mann as David, and Joni Aiton Kent as Elena. So if you want to catch this incredible cast in If Then, a musical which is very rarely performed in the UK, I don't even think it ever came over here. I may be wrong with that though. You can catch the concert on the 10th of February, and I'm hoping to get my tickets soon. Obviously, great casting here. Goes without saying. Carl Mann is incredible. David Hunter is incredible. Joni Aiton Kent is incredible. Also, trans representation. Let's go. I can't wait to see it. And going from one musical with great trans representation to another, we have some further cast announced for We Aren't Kids Anymore. Joining Sam Tutty and Amy Atkinson in the concert will be Dylan Mulvaney, trans icon, performer, very well known on TikTok for her series Days of Girlhood. She will be joining the cast for the concert on the 28th of April 2025. So if you want to catch this show, support the trans besties in the West End, you can go and catch it then. As well as that, we've had the first acts announced for the Big Night of Musicals 2025. This is returning to Manchester on the 27th of January at the AO Arena, with Jason Manford starring as the host. And there are multiple West End musicals and UK tours performing at this event, including Calamity Jane, Dear Evan Hansen, Batter of Hell, Here and Now, Mean Girls, and Disney's Hercules, with more musicals to announce their involvement soon. So if you're near Manchester, make sure you grab your tickets. I'm pretty sure this is the one that's done through the National Lottery, so I think it's quite hard to get tickets. I think you have to go for the National Lottery. I don't know. Look it up. Google it. And finally, for concert news this week, I told you we speak about 9. This musical is celebrating the Hope Mills' 9th birthday. They are doing a concert on the 1st and the 2nd of February 2025 at the Lowry Theatre in Salford. Previously announced was Ramin Karimloo. And joining him will be Ruthie Henshaw, Amber Davies, Josephina Gabrielle, Victoria Hamilton Barrett, also icon, Melissa James, Danielle Steers, and Zizi Strallen. That is a cast. I mean, literally every name there. Ruthie Henshaw, icon, legend, the moment. Amber Davies, fantastic performer. Josephina Gabrielle, she is playing a mother, and she is mother. Everyone there. This is a cast. I don't know if I can get up to Manchester on those dates, but I'm going to have to try because this is fantastic. And that ends concerts and events. Let's move on to our miscellaneous news of the week. First off, we have a bunch of extensions to talk about. The Lightning Thief musical has announced a very long extension. I was quite surprised, but very pleased for this cast, as The Lightning Thief has extended to the 31st of August 2025. You now have an additional 4 months, because I'm pretty sure they initially announced... Okay, let me do some math. They initially announced the run until February, I'm pretty sure, and then extended slightly to March quietly. So if we say that February was the initial date, the initial closing date, that is an additional 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months to catch The Lightning Thief in London. Very exciting and amazing to see a musical do really well here at the Other Palace. As well as that, Punch, another James Graham play. We're speaking a lot about James Graham plays today. Punch is going to the Young Vic, and they have added 2 weeks onto their run, as they will now play from the 1st of March to the 26th of April. And as well as that, Come Alive, the circus show based on The Greatest Showman, has extended to the 30th of September 2025. As well as that, we have 3 shows to talk about that have announced cast albums. The first one is Oliver, which is opening in the West End. I'm pretty sure they're in previews now, opening next month. They have announced a live recorded cast album. This was recorded at their off West End tryout at the Chichester Festival Theatre. And this will be released on the 10th of January 2025 with the opening number, Food, Glorious Food, available to listen to now. As well as that, YMS A Single dropped another song. They've been doing short drops over the past couple of months. This included the title number, 8 dates, Just In Case, and they recently dropped Disco Ball, which I've been listening to all week. But in that announcement, they also announced that a cast album will be coming in early 2025. Now, that can mean anything. What's very likely is that this cast album is going to come after the show closes in January. But nonetheless, I can't wait to listen to all the songs. I can't wait to listen to Men Are Trash over and over and over again. Cannot wait. But if you can't wait either, you can go and listen to some of their demos and drops, including Disco Ball, which I think is one of the best songs in the entire show. You can go and listen to them on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you get your music. And in breaking news, literally announced today, I'm really glad I didn't pre-record this, Sister Act has announced Their cast album will be releasing at midnight tonight. If you are watching this after the 22nd of December, you can go and listen to the Sister Act's cast album right now. They have released it as a Christmas present. This is a cast album that's been live recorded in the West End, specifically with their first 2024 cast. So this is Beverly Knight as Dolores and Ruth Jones as Mother Superior. So wait until midnight if you're watching this on the day it uploads. If you're watching it after that, you can go and listen to it now. But finish the video first. There's a lot more news. Moving on quickly, we got one season to talk about, and that is the Greenwich Theatre, or I guess the Greenwich Theatre, if the entire wickidification of Greenwich is still up and thriving. You can check the full season by the link down below. I'll leave a link to an article explaining the season. But as always with seasons, I'll pull out a show that I find really interesting to talk about, and that is Murder Ballad. This is a musical that's very, very rarely seen in the UK, and it will be getting a revival in London, in Greenwich, running from the 30th of September to the 26th of October. This is a musical about a love triangle. It's set in New York. It's very exciting to see. And let's move on to transfers and new productions. First of all, we have a new tour for The Bodyguard musical. The Bodyguard will return to tour the UK and Europe in 2025, opening in Birmingham on Saturday the 20th of September 2025. And then we'll play a multitude of dates. The ones that have been announced so far are Blackpool, Oxford, Aberdeen, Milton Keynes, and Zurich. So if you want to catch The Bodyguard, you can catch it at any of those tour stops, or wait for further tour stops to be announced soon. We also have another show heading to the Charing Cross Theatre. Mrs. President will be running at the Charing Cross from the 31st of January to the 16th of March 2025. This is a historical drama centered around Mary Lincoln, who, if you can't tell from that name, is the wife of Abraham Lincoln. Once again, that is the Charing Cross Theatre from the 31st of January if you want to catch that show. As well as that, another show that is heading off West End is White Rose. This is a musical I've heard lots and lots about. This is going to the Marylebone Theatre from Thursday the 27th of February to Sunday the 13th of April 2025. This is a musical all about a group of students in Germany in the 1930s who stood up to the Third Reich. It sounds really interesting. I've heard a lot of really good things about its off-Broadway premiere. So if you want to catch the musical, you can head to London, specifically the Marylebone Theatre, to catch it at the dates I said, which were the 27th of February to the 13th of April. I already said them. Do I need to say them again? I don't know how short your attention span is. Continuing the off-West End theme in this, we are getting a off-West End return for Mark Gatiss' version of A Christmas Carol. A Christmas Carol, a ghost story, will be returning to the Alexandra Palace Theatre for a third Christmas season in 2025. This will run from the 22nd of November to the 4th of January. I really love the way that they title this. That is A Christmas Carol, a ghost story, which always just makes me think it's going to be 222. 222, a ghost story. I'm just imagining now Ebenezer Scrooge on the set of 222. No, he's just been cast in the next UK tour. So if you want to catch this version of A Christmas Carol, you can head to the Alexandra Palace next year. And finally, in news this week, we have two stories to talk about, two very big musicals. The first is the UK premiere of Freaky Friday. This is based on the Disney Channel film of the same name. This is a musical. I'm pretty sure it was in America. I'm not sure. I don't think it did off-Broadway. I think it was like off-Broadway. But also, I'm pretty sure Disney Channel made it into a film. I don't know if they did a pro shot or turned it into a film, but the Freaky Friday musical has been around for quite a while now. But finally, it's going to be premiering in the UK with a run at the Home in Manchester next year from the 27th of November to the 31st of December. So if you want a Freaky Friday over Christmas next year, you can head to Manchester, specifically the Home Manchester. They do great work there. It's a fantastic venue from those dates. And finally, in news this week, we had the official announcement of Evita. Evita is officially coming back next year, directed by Jamie Lloyd, and will be opening at the London Palladium from the 14th of June to the 6th of September 2025. Now, this isn't really new news. The venue is. We didn't know, well, it wasn't officially announced that it was going to the London Palladium, but there's a couple of really interesting things to note about this. The first thing is that this is not the first time Jamie Lloyd has directed Evita. Jamie Lloyd previously directed Evita at the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre. Now, they're being very sly on details about this. We have been waiting to find out whether this is a revival or a remounting of that specific production. From the way they're phrasing it, there may be similarities, but I don't think it's going to be that production. They're kind of beating around the bush on the fact that he's directed it before. In some of the interviews that they had in this press release, they do mention, Jamie Lloyd does mention that he's returning to this piece of work, but there's no mention specifically of the Regent's Park Open Air Theatre production, which leads us to suspect this is going to be a new version. But if you want to catch Evita, once again, that is the 14th of June to the 6th of September. I don't think tickets are on sale yet, but keep an eye out, and I will announce when they go on sale in due course. And that is all of your theatre news for 2024. We've got loads to look forward to next year. So what do you think? What are you looking forward to next year? And let me know if you want to see more news recaps in 2025. Thank you so much for continuing to watch these and support these every single week. While the news recaps are done, I do have some more videos planned up to the end of the year, so I'll see you very soon. If you did enjoy this video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. It really helps me out the channel. Here's some links to some other videos on screen right now, and a link to my Instagram if you'd like to drop me a follow over there. I also have other social links and a merch store in the description down below. But that's it for me today, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.